Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War Unification Tournament warm-up casts this side of East Yorkshire. And today we've got a best of 3, with the first game being on Titanfall. Playing as the Eldar on the southern side, we've got Oderless. And playing on the northern side as the Steel Legion, we've got Kubini. Kubini will be opening up double Pioneer Squads, double Legionnaires, and a relay station. Whereas the Eldar are going to go for a couple of Guardians, Fleet Foot Research, and a Aspect Portal. So this is a warm-up game for the tournament that is yet to come. We're just doing a couple of warm-up games in the general community just to see how the format works. You know, maybe iron some bugs out. On the screen right now, I will have the picks and bans for both players. It does look very, very professional, I do have to say. The way that the picks and bans work is that you ban one, you pick one, the other person bans one and picks one, etc., etc., amen, until you get a wonderful selection of factions. And the best of 3, you only get to use one faction each. Well, when I say one faction each, one faction once. So if you're really good at one faction, no, young man, you can't stick on them forever. You've got to bounce and hop between the two. So I really, really like the way the picks and bans work in this tournament. Definitely far superior than even my own tournament, dare I say. Let's go over the games. We've got Eldar versus Steel Legion. Now, one of these chaps is the organizer, or one of the organizers for the tournament. But they've got different names in-game compared to the names that they have on Discord. So who really knows who's actually in charge of this? But quite exciting stuff all the same. But yeah, Steel Legion, I imagine in the early game they've probably got the advantage due to their turrets and due to their grenade launchers. As the game goes on though, I do believe that the Eldar, with their superior maneuverability, if the Steel Legion go for a, what's it called, the Armoured Command, Armoured Fist, the tanks, whatever you call them, they are going to struggle a little bit, but based on this relay station, I imagine they're probably going to be going into the more, is it mechanized infantry? The one way to get the stormtroopers. And speaking of stormtroopers, we've got none down here, but we've got a lot of legionnaires coming on straight down here, being very, very aggressive in the early game, whilst we've got some Dark Reapers over here doing exactly the same. I mean, the one advantage of the Steel Legion is that you do not need your infantry units to cap any points. You can just get your builders to do it. They are very versatile builders, as far as I am aware. Can't rebuild things, or should I say can't repair things, but they can go infiltrate, they can build, they can cap. So they are very, very good, but already Dark Reapers into the base, going to be annihilating a lot of these Pioneer Squads. Pioneer's going to try and jump inside, and there we go. A little bit of fence in there. Dark Reaper's not going to do all that much against them, especially when there's double Legionnaires already in the base, going to be smashing up some plasma generators. And they've already gone for their grenade launchers as well, and grenade launchers for these guys are super duper cheap. You could basically, I mean, what kind of green? Yeah, 10 income. You can keep your Legionnaires fully equipped all the way through and be totally fine. Dark Reaper's not going to focus too much on the inside of the base, as they've got some guys hiding inside the listening post, but they can focus on these outside bits. We'll take them on. And then probably then sally forth, or should I say sally return back home. Plasma generator is down. And I don't know if Dark Reapers versus Steel Legionnaire grenades is actually going to work for them. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to see how this engagement goes. It is 2 versus 1. And good lord, they do a lot of damage. You need both your Dark Reapers to come over. Made them work as a pair. Morale has been broken. So I have to keep on running away until that morale comes back on. But actually, I don't think the Dark Reapers are going to do all that much against these guys. Maybe some, not Harlequins, what are they called? Howling Banshees. Howling Banshees to keep these guys on the move. Just because they've got no setup time for their grenade launchers whatsoever. So anytime they're standing still, they're going to be throwing out a volley of free grenades, which do a lot of damage. Although these guys have got no grenade launchers on them at the moment, which I do believe is probably a bit of a misplay. But I mean, they're doing it. They've got total map dominance at the moment. I mean, yeah, fair play. We do have the Guardians down here with a strategic point, but not amazing stuff from the Eldar side at the moment. I'm going to see a grenade. Oh, sorry, not a grenade, a big Eldar Psychic Storm from the Farseer. But even with all this going on, Dark Reapers are falling quick and fast. Thankfully, the Farseer may be acting as kind of like how I said the Howling Banshees were, just keeping these guys on the move. And that is the squad you want to keep on the move with the grenade launchers. These guys are auto-reinforced with grenade launchers themselves, but once these guys are out of position, they take a lot of damage. Sadly, the Dark Reapers cannot fire and move at the same time. Otherwise, their chasing potential would have been amazing. Maybe the opening against Steel Legion here would probably be maybe like Guardians with grenades. That might be the way forward. Yeah, double Guardians, Howling Banshees, Farseer go proper full-blown nuts to butts, balls to walls. But it is a very unusual opening. Eldar players do love their double Dark Reaper openings, just because they're safe, you know? Dark Reapers, you know where you stand with them. They're the ranged-orientated squad. Good against infantry and heavy infantry. But not really working in this specific setup. Farseer, and as well, like, problem with Farseer is that she does lots of AoE damage, which is amazing usually, especially against these low-armoured, low-healthed models. But it takes her so long to wind up an attack that they can just run away before she even spits out that psychic damage. Already gone for that tier 2 has the Steel Legion. Guardians over here capturing bits and bobs whatever they can. So actually, even though Steel Legion have got the control of the centre here, they are kind of losing the edges of their empire here. Burnsinger are trying to avoid these Pioneer squads. They don't do an amazing amount of damage. Actually, no, in fairness, considering there are only 2 models, they will crump this Burnsinger good and proper. Farseer is going to run away where the Dark Reaper's gone. And the Steel Legion have got loads of blue money to play with. They could play with this all day long. Whereas the Eldar don't have quite the same kind of story here. Go to upgrade that Listening Shrine. Might potentially save them. Or at least this side. Until... Oh, these guys have got grenades as well. Right, okay. Well, that's just grenade launchers and just a regular old grenade. No, not a happy situation to be in at all. One model being lost there. Farseer being knocked around. That's another tricky situation for the Eldar as well, is that a lot of their models can be knocked around by these grenade launchers, which just basically massively reduces their usefulness in combat as well as their ability to bring out that DPS. If you're on your backside, you can't fire a gun. Rule number 1 of firing guns. But then again, maybe I've never fired a gun. For anyone who's fired a gun in, I don't know, America or Brazil, because I know guns are quite popular over there for reasons. There we go, Howling Banshees, get involved, man. But yeah, fire a gun on your backside. Does that increase your accuracy? Who knows? But yeah, a little bit too late for these Howling Banshees, but better late than never. That's what my dad always said. Guys will be firing, Psychic Storms on the way. Keeping these guys on the move. Unable to use their grenade launchers. Now these Howling Banshees will be absolutely amazing once they unlock their charging ability in tier 2. When they get that researched. She's going to fall back. I do love the Dawn of War 2 voice lines for the Eldar units. It's just warm. Warm and inviting. Makes you want to visit the... sorry, let me say that again. Makes you want to visit the craft world. Going for a holiday. We do have an ammunition bunker and a Trojan on the way. Trojan's kind of like essential purchasing for the Steel Legion. If anything, just to keep on the back lines to repair stuff. And repair buildings. I mean, they've already been... Has there been a little bit of damage? I don't think there has been. No, there hasn't. The Eldar are coming back thick and strong. They've got their Guardians, they've got the Dark Reapers, they've got the Howling Banshees. But now we have got some, I imagine, some Stormtroopers coming in. Yep, and these guys pack quite the wallop. Although they are being slurred. Oh no, never mind, they've got one model being killed by a Mind War. Which, fair play, if there's no single type commands to go for, may as well get whatever models you can from them. The Guardians coming forward, asking them to guide their hands. Pioneers sticking in there. They're not using their shovels, they're using their lasguns. Like proper true men. Legionnaires, losing their morale. As the Howling Banshees amass in number. The economy's still very, very low. Well, I want to say, the economy's relatively good for the Eldar. What number is it? 9 minutes and 3 seconds into the game. But, keeping their units reinforced. Eldar units are not cheap. What? Dark Reapers are 70 blue? Howling Banshees are 50 blue. And with the same price as a Space Marine. Or maybe Space Marines are 55, I can't quite remember. But they're very fragile. And when the Trojan comes out, it does do a lot of damage. But it is a vehicle. And the Eldar don't have anything to counter the vehicle at the moment. So Force are going to fall back. Fire Dragons on the way. At least the stun aspect has been finished. The squad will come out. Pioneers continuing to whittle away at this Listening Shrine. The Steel Legion, man, they got that early game advantage. And nothing's really stopping them at this point. I can see a replacement plasma generator. Where was your other plasma generator then? Where have you built that? Oh, you built it over here. Fair enough. Okay. This shrine has finally gone down. And Oderless. Oh dear. Throws out that GG. He had time. He was getting those fire dragons out, but then again, in saying that, a lot of infantry to deal with, and there was no real counter for that. They could take on a Trojan, but taking on all this stuff is probably not on the cards for them. So, fairly quick game 1. So, 1-2 Kubini here. Let's see how game number 2 goes. Alright, so here we are in game number 2. We've got Oderless on the southern side playing as the Space Marines, or Kubini on the north playing as the Orcs. Now, both factions, I mean, the vanilla, true and blue all the way through. I do call out the Space Marine pick in this matchup as, I mean, the Orcs, they've got a very specific opening. It's Slugger Boys into Shooters and Big Mech, or maybe less Shooter Boys than normal and going into Storm Boys. They've got a very limited kind of opening situation going on for them, but Space Marines, they can go Snipers with their Scouts, which is totally viable against the Orcs. They can go Force Commander into Space Marines, they can get the Assault Marines. Very, very flexible and malleable is Oderless's faction choice here today. So that's quite exciting. And before any of you ask, I'm not putting on a count to see who's winning and who's losing at the moment because I just can't be bothered. I will do one for the actual tournament itself, but you know, these are the warm-ups, baby. We're not going ham so far. You know, I'm busy doing live stuff. Assault Marines, there we go. On a map as wide as this, you want that maneuverability. You want that ability to jump over all these terrain features to be able to harass and harry all the things that the Orcs have. The Orcs, obviously, they've got shooty bits on all their buildings, regardless of what level they are, but I reckon the Assault Marines can probably hack it, especially if they get to that tier 2, they get those melter bombs on the way, and all that good stuff. In fact, maybe, I can't actually remember if you can research it in tier 1. I don't think you can, but don't quote me on that. We've only got 2 scouts at the moment, so their capping of all these points is going to be a little bit slower than maybe the Orcs who have just got people on every nook and cranny. We do have some Shooter Boys coming up first before the Big Mech. That's interesting to see. Shooter Boys going to go and take on the Servitor. Servitor will probably finish this listing post before they are taken on. So that's something that some means they're now going to come over and scare these guys away. And with their impressive movement speed, they should be able to get a couple of slashes in. Get a couple of good old stab-ins on the go. But Big Mech is now out. Got some Slugger Boys on the way. I imagine Slugger Boys will engage these guys in close combat. We're trying to screen away for these Shooter Boys. They can also jump inside the buildings once they've been finished, but some means they're not giving up on the Shooter Boys. Big Mech is now in. He's going to engage in range combat stance. Before then, are you going to engage it? What are you going to do? You're thinking about close combat? There we go. That's how a Big Mech should work. Give him a big squeeze. Someone's going to come in and see what they could do. Nothing much, really. They can slice away at this, but the Big Mech is going to teleport in with the Slugger Boys for defensive reasons. One Assault Marine getting smashed in the chops. In fact, 2, actually. Big Mech is no pushover in close combat against regular infantry. Against other commanders, he struggles a little bit, but well, he's fighting people smaller than him. That's how bullies work. Focus on the small fry, get him good and proper. We go for War Banner over here as well as the Grots jump inside this listing post. Going to be upgraded as well, so seems like the Orcs are going to focus a little bit on building up this space for defending. As obviously this place and this place as well as this place and this place is quite common for also harassment on this kind of map. A little bit too far away from your main base, so it's hard to defend. So the Orcs are going to put a little bit of risk in there by building up some of their War Banners, which is, well, like I said, it's always risky because you lose a War Banner, you get sent backwards in the tech tree. And this is their first War Banner as well. So still on the very early stages of Tier 1, which normally, by this stage, you would have seen maybe like 1 War Banner by one of these listing posts. Hey, oh, that's fine. Double Assault Marines as well. So Oderless being really, really aggressive here. He's thinking, right, you may have killed my Eldar, but I'm not going to let you survive against my Space Marines. And he knows full well that the Orcs are going to open with some Shooter Boys. So it's quite predictable. He is able to plan around them. But the Orcs, they've got no need for tactics or tacticians. Oh, I've got Mad Number in the watching in the blooming in the observer slots. That's cool. Although watch out, Mad Number, when I get to the finals, and if you're there, ho, core blimey, I'll be taking you on, young man. Your Emperor's Children, they're getting banned. Or maybe they won't. Maybe I'll let you pick Emperor's Children, just so I could beat you with your own stick. He says, confidently, like as if he's ever going to get to the finals. Let me know in the comments whether you think I will or not. I reckon I can. You just gotta believe. You gotta believe and have a really good group bracket to win. Oh, that spaceman just getting thrown in the ocean there by the big mech. He loves a good scrap, does this kid. Constantly bashing people round the noggin before throwing them away like a can of old tuna. More shooter boys on the way. Yet to see any pile of guns. After all, we are now officially at the pile of guns squad cap. Current economies are 92 and 10 compared to 85 and 0. Wow, okay. So Oderless really committing to that early game harassment, so no chance of him getting into an early tier 2. He needs to make sure these assault marines work as much as possible, as best he can. It's a risky strategy, a very risky strategy, I do have to say. But then again, the Orcs don't need green money to go into tier 2. They can just keep on building their war banners, which is something not really much commented on. The Orcs are very, very, we need the blue, and that's it. Which is quite cool, if you ask me, personally. Double shooters. No big shooters on them as of yet, but the assault marines, they can jump in and tie up one, but they can't tie up the other squad. They're not going to jump in, they're just going to engage with the big mech. Not sure if engaging the squad with the big mech is the correct option here, but they have gone for their war gear bionics, so health will be increased quite dramatically. Another squad of Space Marines coming on the northern side. We'll swap targets a little bit. Let's keep both of these guys on the move. You'll see a pile of guns right up here. Again, more shooting bits to defend this listing post here. The assault marines will decide, no thank you. But there are other things that they can crump. There is a unupgraded listing post over here. We've got a floaty plane there that's not really doing all that much. Listing post here has been upgraded, so it will be a little bit more difficult for the Orcs to push on through. Unless, of course, they get the big mech, they separate him, they make him tank the damage, and then these guys can then get the good shootings in. Currently, Oderless has got the critical location victory countdown on the go, as the shooter boys are continuously harassed and harried by the assault marines. May as well bring them back just a smidgen over here, so everyone else can join in. Maybe even setting up like a defensive line on hold your ground stance here, just so the assault marines are forced and sit in the negative cover. Yeah, okay, fair enough, the shooters can't shoot at them, but the war banner and the listing post surely can. But now the big shooters are on the way, and the assault marines will be in a real world of hurt if they can't type both units at the same time. Assault marines over here, they'll be scaring away the slugger boy. In fact, the squad wipe is on the way by the looks of things. If we get him, go on. There we go. One sink kill, and a big kick in the face. There we go. Now it says get out, like giving them the boot. Somebody's managing to separate these guys, but lads over here, they've got triple big shooters. And just watch the health plummet on these assault marines. Even separated the big mech, so you could just stand around here and tie these guys up for a little bit. Definitely need these assault marines to come over, and they will come over. In fact, let's get some cinematic followings in on them. Magnum are throwing out some positivity, that's what we like to see. Even though he's French, he's still quite positive in the grand scheme of things. Assault Marine squad over here being battered and bruised, but they have fallen back, they are still alive. And what's going on down here? We're seeing tier 2 for Oderless, 92 and 30, with 116 and 40, and tier 2 for the Orcs as well. Seeing those Storm Boys. Not sure how the Storm Boys compare to the Assault Marines. Have you gone for your big choppers? You have... Right, hold still. Right, let me just get a wangle in there. No, you've not gone for your big choppers. Big choppers means power claws on the knobs. But that fire... That sound effect from those big shooters. And this listing post cannot fire back in defense. It's not the quickest way to kill a building, but it certainly is the most secure way for the Orcs at the moment. I'm going to go for those decaps, as the Assault Marines do stab these guys down. In fact, actually, maybe even be able to get full squad wipe here. No, never mind. They'll decap and then jump away. This person outside here has been killed. And we've got some tank busters here as we go. Machine Cult been finished. And a Landspeeder Tempest ready to... I mean, Landspeeder Tempest, amazing against the shooter boys. Even with the big shooters. But the Tank Busters, you're gonna be watching out for them. Are you infiltrated, Tank Busters? No, not yet, but you will be researching that Tank Buster infiltration research, which is something I always forget to do while playing as the Orcs. There's something that's really, really good in the early game. I have yet to see them transition away into something a little bit more viable for the mid to late game. Sometimes what you see with players when they go about this, they think, right, okay, tier 1, I'll do this. And then if they don't win with a tier 1 option, then really struggle to go with a second option. I thought when you go inside a game, you've already got your game plan sorted. It's hard to deviate from the original plan. Some of are going to jump around the backside, while some go in the front. Space Marine sandwich on the way. A deli sandwich of sweet meats and cheeses. As Landspeeder Tempest opens fire, he's got his frag missiles out, so actually that will really help them against the infantry. Shooters jumping over onto this over the big mech, but the frag missile really, really crumping these guys good and proper. Showing them that, are they the hardest? Maybe, but nothing's harder than a missile. Not in this day and age, anyway. Got some boys over here. In fact, we've got double Tank Busters smashing up these listing posts. War Track over here. Well, in fact, double War Tracks as well. Some of these are going to go for those decaps. Decaps for the kneecaps. That's what you call them. Sure, boys, looking worse for wear now, actually. It's just amazing how one singular addition to this composition changed the entire outlook of it. Those frag missiles really, really paying dividends here. But yeah, it does look like double shooter boys have been wiped out here. But the War Trucks are going to cause them an issue. The frag missiles on Landspeeder Tempest ain't going to do all that much. We have seen that the War Truck, in fact, both War Trucks are going to go for their twin big shooters. So actually, maybe not the end of the world. Landspeeder Tempest trying to sort out these Gretchens. So never mind, they are infiltrated, so you can only go for the listing post. Fire been going on. Big mech waddling down. And metal bombs coming from the assault marines. Doing a good amount of damage against the War Track. A second grenade coming in. Oh, that's a bit tasty. But double tank shocking on the... Ah, that was really unfortunate. Well, they were both very low health. Almost got them both if we really wanted it. Over on this side, we do the Tank Busters now moseying on in. Oderless. Looking less than pleasant in this situation. But did a really, really good job in the early game, I do have to say. Keeping those shooter boys on the move. It was definitely an amazing idea. Maybe it should have been maybe just one Assault Marine squad going about just like harassing the points and decapping and stuff, whereas maybe, I don't know, Force Commander, maybe some Scout Snipers. It's up to anyone's interpretation, really, when you're breaking down Space Marine players' play, because like we say, when we saw those Landspeeder Tempests with like a frag grenade, you don't normally see it, but you can play Space Marines on the fly. That's what I quite like about that faction. Anyway, so that means that Kubini wins the best of 3. However, we do have one more game, so we may as well play it for posterity. So I'll see you in the next one. So here we are in this last of the best of 3. We have got Kubini playing as the Tau Empire, and we've got Oderless playing as the Sisters of Battle. So like I said in the last game, even though Kubini has already won this best of 3, maybe Oderless can claw back some sort of some respect, some sort of victory in this and not let it be a total wipeout. We are going to see a pristine sanctuary. This either means that the sisters are going to go for Seraphins, or they're going to go for the Canoness with an Inferno pistol. And I mean, realistically, when you've got Tau, you've got the Tau Fire Commander coming out, and you've also got the Fire Warriors in general, the Inferno pistol isn't a bad shout. I mean, Seraphins, yeah, okay, they're good in like harassing and stuff. They can engage the Tau in close combat, which is totally fine. But I mean, that Inferno pistol, it's very, very accurate. And she's also good in close combat, so she can constantly chase around the Tau Commander. But in saying that, he does also have his snare. He does also have his, what you call it, that one hit, one kill, mega damage, plasma burst, doofy-doodad, whatever you call that. Got some novitiates. It's been shot at by the stealth suit team, but they do very little damage. Got to make sure that you capture this and then pop a listing post on straight away. I imagine it was clicking furiously here Oh, that is so unfortunate. Enough to make a grown man cry. But actually, can they kill him before he captures it? Oh, come on. Yes. Oh, there we go. Oh, God blimey. That was emotional. Oof, says Klempe. He's in here as well. And now I've got Seraphins and Novitiate, so he decided to go for Seraphins in the end. Did Oderless. But some Vespids. We don't normally see Vespids in Unification. That's quite exciting. Let's go on a bit of a journey with these guys. Fairly decent in close combat. They've got their discombobulation, which does a lot of damage to buildings. Also got their AoE pulse attack, which knocks away close combat units away. Tower Commander also providing some firing support. Not sure if they'll win this engagement against double Seraphins, considering their maneuverability, but they're at least tying up both squads to keep away from the main tower base, which is certainly something. Guys now going to go over. Missionaries trying their best. Clears the Arcal Servitor, thinking about capturing that, thinking about building up a listing post on that. We don't have the money for it, sadly. We're too busy building up these Seraphins. So Vespids can go for those decaps, but they will instead focus on the Adeptus Sororitatis Convent. For reasons, there's loads of things to decap here, boys. Get to decapping, get to napping. But listing post be placed over there. Yeah, a bit of a missed opportunity there from Kubini. The Seraphins still en masse moving around. Tower Commander, though, is not giving up. Keeping those ladies on their toes. Listing post has been finished. We'll go for another discombobulate. But the firepower, man. Vespids aren't the tankiest of dudes. We will need to run away as best they can. One big pulse to knock them on the backside while they try and fly away, but they've... Oh, we've got a little bit of jumping juice left, so we'll jump over this way. The Seraphins are in hot pursuit. Not going to leave them alone at all. They are protecting their listing posts with every bit of life and limb that they have. The Seraphins, they aren't dying. They aren't dying in the same way that the Vespids are. These guys are just hungry for those listing posts. Here's Arcal Servitor also shaking off the incoming damage from the Tower Commander. Does not look like the Vespids are making that much of an impact as they would like. Are we seeing anything else from the tower at the moment? No. It's just those guys building up stuff. They haven't really gone for all their stuff yet. So, much like... what's his name? Oderless in the first game with the Assault Marines, really dedicating himself to the aggressiveness in the early game. And also, no green money for the Sisters. We've got a little bit of green money for the Tout. Do the Seraphins cost green money to reinforce then? They do, so you are very unfortunate, Oderless. Very unfortunate indeed. You need at least one plasma generator up with the Sisters of Battle if you're going to go for the Seraphins. There we go, one's been finished so they can now actually reinforce themselves. Novitiate's moving inside the tower base, but the Fire Warrior team will probably smack them up the wrong un. That's exactly what they're doing, scaring them away with their plasma rifles. Only one lady left. Can she survive? Gonna go for one extra friend in their squad. And the Seraphins are now going to come over, but there is nothing for them to decap now. Apart from maybe the relic, but it's not even been capped yet. Don't do amazing damage against buildings or vehicles. But against infantry, that's a whole different story. Fire Warriors cannot contend with this at all. Do have a fresh Tower Commander. He must have died earlier on. He's going to fire at these ladies. As the last of the Fire Warriors get taken out. Now focus all your fire. Oh, let's focus all the fire on the Tower Commander. But no, they're going to focus on the FCAS builders instead. Which I suppose makes sense. Prevents them from building anything else. But in saying that, they didn't need to build anything else. Since they've got lots of blue money, they could afford more stuff. Just build lots of plasma generators at this point. Control area victory for Oderless on the way. 5 minutes and 55 seconds to go. Tower Commander barely taking lick of damage. We do see a Fire Warrior team, and they will decide to ask him to go home politely. But Tower not known for listening to such mild requests, especially the Fire Warrior cast. Tower Commander still continuing to fire over the ridge of this heavy cover. Fire Warrior's not doing amazing. Probably Kroot would have been an idea. At least Kroot can fire and move at the same time. Yeah, these guys not getting a single shot off, sadly. We have an aircraft builder just chilling out near the Sisters base. Do we have any crazy things going on? Tier 2 for Oderless here. As a Fire Warrior gets deaded, but stunned, or even slowed, sorry. Sevens our Fire Warrior goes down. And the... Yep. And the Tower Commander listfully firing at these guys while they focus on the plasma generator. They've only got one. They've only got one with that 10. So taking this guy out will certainly put Kubini on the back foot when it comes to taking up to tier 2. But he's going to lose it. Not got anything really on the field at the moment. Really good idea in the early game being super aggressive with those Vespids, but didn't really make the impact they wanted. And so Kubini says, you know what, thank you very much. It was a good game, good series. Like I said, Kubini still wins, but Oderless coming out, making sure it's not a clean sheet. What a wonderful set of games from these players. We've seen Kubini on the channel before, and he's a pretty decent player. I don't think we've seen Oderless on the channel before, but all things considered, a really, really good, competent play from both the players here. And thank you so much to whether it was Oderless or Kubini. Again, your Discord name is different from your actual in-game name, so I'm not sure who sent it in for the tournament warm-up games, but massively appreciated. And yeah, cool, nice one. I will see you in a bit. Peace.